there, and welcome to installment 5 of Achieve Wellbeing. I'm Dr. Lisa Kirk Brown, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, Doctor of Public Health with almost 30 years experience in preventive medicine and disabled veteran. At the last installment of Achieve Wellbeing, I presented to you one of the elements of the physical aspects of well-being, activity and rest. And it's my sincere hope that over the last couple weeks, you've been able to implement some of those recommendations and improve your activity and rest regimen. Today, I want to talk to you about another element of the physical aspects of well-being, nutrition. It's one of my passions. I've been very interested in nutrition for about 20 years now, and it's a really exciting time to be into nutrition. There's a lot of new options available for your diet, and there's also a lot of medical research that's very, very up to date and interesting for you to follow. Today I'm in my kitchen because I want to share with you a little bit about how I organize my nutrition and my family's nutrition. And then I want to talk to you about some of my personal recommendations. I want to share with you what a menu might look like that's highly nutritious. Then I want to talk to you a little bit about supplements and the need for those and what I would recommend taking as a supplement to your nutritional diet. So what is nutrition? Earlier we talked about the physical aspects of well-being simply being what you need to operate your body and maintain your body properly. I likened it to a car, how you would service your car, maintain your car, clean your car, fuel your car. The physical aspects of well-being are those things that help you maintain your body properly and to help it function properly. Nutrition is really what fuel is required in your body to help it function properly at both the cellular level and the macro level in how it performs. All of you have probably experienced a time when you've not had proper nutrition. For me, it was when I was a child, and it was very difficult for my mom to be able to get nutritious meals on the table because of her own illness. It wasn't her fault, but she just didn't have the ability to do that. And so I went with a lot of nutrition as a child. And since I've been an adult and able to manage my own nutrition, I've really taken a very big interest and have a passion about it because it makes such a difference. When you see how you perform without nutritious food compared to how you perform when you have nutritious food, it's like night and day. And I'm sure all of you have experienced both sides of the spectrum where maybe you've eaten too little and you don't feel well and you have no energy, or maybe you've eaten too much and you don't have any energy for the opposite reasons, or maybe you've eaten the wrong things and you just feel not well. You don't have wellness, a state of comfort, health, and happiness. So my sincere desire today is to inspire you to achieve nutritional well-being, a state of comfort, health, and happiness. So let's get started. First, I want to talk about an overarching principle, and that's mindful eating. There's lots of resources out there online that you can research mindful eating. Simply put, it's just being present in the moment while you're eating. And so we need, roughly based upon our body weight, our height, our age, and our activity level, we need a certain amount of calories a day. And so I believe in counting calories. I think it's very important to understand what nutritional energy requirements your body has so that you don't run out of gas, basically. There's plenty of websites for that as well, so I would go to those and be sure that you know what your caloric requirements are for each day. There's lots of apps that you can use. I use the Lose It app. I'm not trying to lose weight, but it's a really good app on my phone to help me log my calories and the different nutrients I take in my body during the day. Mindful eating is simply being present and aware of what you're eating. And so if there's one thing I want you to take away from this talk, it's that you should be mindful of your eating. If you can change one thing to help you manage your nutrition, it would be paying attention each bite you take to what you're taking into your body. as if it was the most important thing you're doing in the day. What that looks like practically is slowing down, taking out a plate, the appropriate size plate, a small plate for things that you don't want to eat a lot of, sitting down and really enjoying every bite that you take. We are not the same as a car. For us, eating is a very pleasurable thing. It involves taste and smell. It also can involve connections with human beings around a dinner table, which is lovely. And eating is to be enjoyed. And I firmly believe, having not had appropriate nutrition and food as a child, that it's one of the most enjoyable and exciting things we can do with our life. Food is just wonderful. We live in a country that has the most amazing food options, and so I want you to be excited about it, and I want you to enjoy it. Just this year alone, it's March, it's the beginning of March at this filming. For the remainder of the year, we have almost 1,095 meals left to pick. That's exciting. You have a ton of options each day, and you have 1,095 more meals if you eat 3 meals a day. If you have 2 snacks a day, you have 730 snacks left this year to pick. So you have roughly 2,000 choices of things that you can enjoy and really satisfy yourself besides fueling your body. So there's twofolds for us. There's the satisfaction as well as the nutritional value that's practical to fuel our bodies. So the first things I want you to do is understand your calorie requirements. Start tracking your calories. Look at mindful eating and really understand that what you're putting in your body, you have these 2,000 choices the rest of this year. That is the majority of what your health and wellness is going to look like, what you put into your body. Cars are probably pretty similar in that regard. If you put crappy fuel in your car isn't going to operate as well as it would if you put good fuel in there. And so I really want to inspire you to make good choices and be mindful of your eating and really enjoy each and every bite that you take of nutritional food. So what are the current recommendations of the medical literature for nutrition? The USDA is the place where most of the research is done on nutrition, and they have many scientific experts that look at this every year and do many studies around nutrition. The 2015 to 2020 recommendations came out just a little bit ago, and what they recommend, I wouldn't go against them because they have some of the best scientists in the world studying things, and they will change their recommendations because they keep abreast of the most current research. What they recommend is that healthy eating includes a variety of vegetables, whole fruits, but mainly whole fruits, whole grains, at least half whole grains, but healthy grains, fat-free or low-fat dairy products, a variety of proteins, and they ask that you limit added sugar to less than 10% of your calories, that you limit your saturated fats to less than 10% of your calories, you limit sodium to less than 2,300 milligrams, and you limit alcohol to 1 drink a day for women and 2 drinks a day for men. I would like to take that a little further, and my recommendations include that you buy organic. I do believe it makes a difference if you can afford it. I've over the last 5 years, I would say I've converted to mainly organic products in my kitchen. It was expensive, so it didn't happen all at once. It happened over time. My spices for cooking are all organic. That took a little while to do that because it's expensive, as I said. But I want to encourage you that it will make a difference over time. Added to that, I recommend that you limit processed food. A very good website for that is a gentleman called Andrew Wilder. He does in October a program called October Unprocessed. And if you have time, it's very educational. It's a really great way to learn what processed foods are. I'm a chemical toxicologist by training. I have a lot of training in toxicology. one of the problems with processed foods is that we don't know how these chemicals interact in our bodies over time. And so the best thing you can do is limit processed food and eat whole foods. And what that looks like practically is shopping around the outside aisle of a grocery store. So imagine you walk into a grocery store, there's a produce department, a dairy department, a bakery, and a meat department. Those 4 areas are where you want to focus the majority of your purchases. If you need to go into the internal aisles for canned goods or cereals, that's fine. But try to stay away from the other packaged foods that are pretty filled with chemicals that we don't know what happens to your body. 99% should be whole foods. Obviously, you're going to have times where you crave potato chips. My husband loves potato chips, so we have potato chips in the house. We're going to limit that to 1% of our diet if possible. For me, I have multiple sclerosis, as I've shared with you, and multiple sclerosis is an inflammatory condition. The inflammation in my brain and my spinal cord can really wreak havoc on the way I perform each day, how I walk, how fatigued I am, and how much pain I have. This is common across the board with people. If you have a spinal injury, inflammation can cause more pain, etc., etc. We can talk more about that. If you have questions, you can email me at drbrown.disabledveteran@gmail.com. For inflammatory conditions, to reduce inflammation, there's a lot of research to suggest that gluten-free diet, dairy-free diet, and low-sugar diet are really helpful in that. And I myself am gluten-free. I reduce and minimize sugar, and I also reduce and minimize dairy by eating, drinking almond milk and some other substitutes for whole dairy. Take that as a recommendation if you have a condition such as that. I would highly recommend, if you suspect you may have a condition like that, or if you're interested in the effects of these different things on your diet and your performance, that you do a test. So an easy test is to just take a week and live without gluten products. Gluten is wheat, it's just really wheat. So breads, crackers, bagels, anything that has wheat in it has gluten. And so take beer, take a week and don't have any gluten, and then introduce it and see how you feel. See if there's a difference. It's always best to do your own personal test and see what works for you. And if you have questions on that, I'd be happy to talk to you online. All right, so let me just tell you a little bit about some of the tips that I've learned over time and what I think is really important for a nutritious diet and for your best performance. Mindful eating, as we talked about, sitting down, slowing down, enjoying each bite, really taking it in, knowing that it's meant to be enjoyed. Our stomach actually has satiation sensors in it that need to be reached with our food before we feel full. It takes basically 10 minutes for your body to process that you're full. So if you eat too fast, you may not feel that fullness for 10 minutes, and you will have taken in 10 minutes more of calories that you weren't needing. So try to eat slower so that you can actually feel those satiation sensors being hit. Whole foods are so good for this because whole foods are bigger. If you have a big salad, it's very low calorie and very low fat and very nutritious, lots of vitamins and the things that are in salads if you put tomatoes and other things. But it also hits those sensors, so you feel full and you're satisfied, and that's how our bodies are created. They're created to feel satisfied. We have a sensor in our stomach that's a pleasure sensor, basically, and so we need to hit that before, or we'll be hungry all the time. And so I'll recommend a few things that in my own diet that help me to do that, and help me do that without putting on tons of weight. Another thing is, don't restrict what you eat. I don't restrict my diet at all. Weight is a number. I think there's people who are heavier than me weight-wise that are healthier than me, and people who are lighter weight than me that are healthier. So weight doesn't really matter. What matters is health, that you are eating the most nutritious things for your body. Don't restrict things, just moderate them. If you're going to have potato chips, take a little bowl and fill a little bowl of potato chips. Account for it in your calorie budget. You should budget what calories you're going to have each day, just like a financial budget, by using those calorie apps. And enjoy every bite of the potato chips or whatever chocolate or whatever you want to have. Just remember to moderate. Don't restrict, and don't give yourself a free rein to eat the whole bag of potato chips, because that's not good for you and it's not going to make you feel good. You won't have well-being if you do that. Watch your weight gain. I think it's important to watch weight gain. I don't think it's important to watch the scale, but if you're gaining weight or losing weight, there's probably something physiologically going on, and it's good to maintain your weight once you reach a healthy level of weight. And that's going to vary by person. Talk to your doctor and try to aim for the thing that is the most healthy for you. And then finally, I really want you to treat your body as good as your favorite thing. So if you have a grandchild or a child or a husband or a dog, a pet that you love, and you just treat it so well, and you help to fuel that person or that animal in the best way, do that for yourself. So just remember, you have to be responsible for your nutrition. No one else can do that for you. You're the decider of what you put in your body, and no one can do that. No one can make you put things in that you don't want to. So it's up to you to do that. Studies show, there's a few things, that if you have fresh fruit on your counter, you're probably healthier and you probably eat better. And so I always have fresh fruit on my counter. I don't put any other food out on the counters, because studies also show if you put food out on the counters, you're probably going to eat more. And so why I put fresh fruit, bananas, apples, oranges, etc. out is because you're probably going to get nutritional value out of these things, the fruits that they recommend by the USDA. Also, snacks, if you have junk food in your house, we have junk food in our house, the recommendation is to put them in a cupboard on a high level, that you're more apt not to select them if you put them there. This is our junk cupboard here. These are our snacks. We have coffee on the top. The two shelves on the top are coffee, and we like coffee. Coffee's not restricted or limited. I mean, too much is probably bad, but they even say now, I have 2 cups a day, but they even say now 4 cups is okay. So that's not really junk, but it's not really nutritious. Coffee doesn't have any nutritional value either. So these are all like potato chips, gluten-free pretzels, skinny pop popcorn, some other things. All these have preservatives. They're not the best choices for a snack. Obviously the fruit is much better, but if you put it up and out of the way, most of these bags aren't even open. So it just shows you that if you put them up and out of the way, you probably forget about them, and then when you're really craving it, like I said, if you do a mindful eating, a little bowl, you'll be doing much better. Down here I have all fruits and nuts, dried fruits and nuts, and those are really good options for getting protein and some nutrition into your body. Another tip is soda. Diet soda. Studies show that drinking diet soda increases your weight by 6 pounds. Easy. So I would recommend not drinking soda if you can. Avoid it. Water, fruit juices are high in sugar, so you want to limit the amount of fruit juice you drink. But I sometimes mix cranberry juice, a little bit of cranberry juice with soda water, and it's just a refreshing, fun drink for me to have. On the limiting alcohol, studies show that alcohol does disrupt sleep and wreak havoc on your diet because there's very little nutritional value to alcohol. So there are studies that show antioxidant support and other things of red wine, and so I'm not saying to avoid it entirely. I'm not drinking this year, and I do feel much more energy because of that, but I don't believe you have to completely restrict it. Like I said, it's just moderate it and try to stick to the guideline of 1 drink a day for women and 2 for men. All right, so what does a sample diet look like for me? Now, my calorie intake is recommended to be about 2,000 calories a day based on my age, my height, my weight, and my activity level. Most women need about that, I would say, and way below that is probably too little. You don't want to restrict below that because you're not going to feel well. Men is usually around 2,500 calories, and so it gives you a lot of options for eating choices during the day. How do I get the most nutrition? How do I get that blend of fruits and vegetables, proteins, all gluten-free grains, and dairy? A sample for me would be, maybe I have for breakfast a smoothie with some protein powder and some flaxseed. I really like, for the non-processed aspects of it, this Bob's Red Mill flaxseed meal. They have protein powder. They have all kinds of products that you can use that are unprocessed without the chemicals. And so maybe I'll have a smoothie for breakfast because I'll get a lot of hydration. I'll get a giant amount of water in the smoothie, and that will sustain a lot of my hydration for the morning. Or I'll have a gluten-free frozen waffle with some peanut butter and jam, or I'll have a yogurt with some homemade granola for breakfast, one of those things. I don't really care for a lot of food in the morning, so I usually go a little light on breakfast. But I always eat breakfast, and you should always eat breakfast because it just jumpstarts your metabolism and helps you start your day with some energy and some fuel. All right, and then if I have a snack in the morning, which I don't typically, I would have a piece of fruit or something like that, an apple or a banana, something. And then for lunch, I was talking about those satiation sensors. I usually have a big green salad or a bowl of soup, a big can of soup. Those are processed. If I'm in a hurry, I'll have that, or I tend to make a lot of homemade soups and then freeze them or have them in the fridge. So soup is a great lunch because it really does fill those sensors, and it's got a lot of nutritional value if you put a lot of vegetables in it. And then for mid-afternoon snack, I'll have maybe a frozen fruit bar or another piece of fruit. If I'm going to do something that's not as nutritional, I'll typically do it at my afternoon snack time because I'll burn it off, and I always try to portion size it out. And then for dinner, I really like to have a meat and a vegetable, or I'll do about 3 vegetarian meals a week. So maybe a salad or spaghetti squash with pasta sauce on it, and I try to make homemade organic pasta sauce. So one of the recent finds for gluten-free pasta options I have are these Banza chickpea noodles. These have protein similar to quinoa, which is a whole grain. Quinoa has protein as well as it's a whole grain, so you get 2 in 1. These Banza chickpea pastas are gluten-free, and they have a lot of protein because they're chickpeas. So I would recommend investigating options such as this to minimize the amount of meat you're eating, but to still get the healthy protein and to avoid the gluten. Other little tricks that I have, I tend to buy Chobani yogurts in the individual size just because it's a little more convenient for me to have that packaging size. But yogurts today are very full of sugar. Greek yogurt is generally better if you have inflammatory conditions. It's not as inflammatory to our system. So Greek yogurt has a lot of protein, so I usually buy those Chobani single serving sizes of Greek yogurt, the flavored type, but I don't mix in all the fruit. So if I mixed in all the fruit, it would just be, I feel like, too much sugar. So that's another tip that you can use to avoid too much sugar in your diet. My husband, he goes along with a lot of the options that I make. We'll have, on other vegetarian nights, we'll have baked potatoes with maybe cottage cheese on them, or some broccoli or cauliflower. He likes baked beans, so often I'll make beans and he'll put that on there. There's a lot of creative ideas for non-meat meals to still get protein. And if you're going to do a salad without any protein on it, nuts are always a great option, and they taste so good on salads. Cashews, cranberries for a little sweetness, and almonds, glazed walnuts. Any of those things will really beef up the protein of your meal, but also satisfy you because, again, you're hitting those satiation sensors in your stomach, so you feel full and you feel satisfied. Unfortunately, a lot of the meat options, they're so small that they don't tend to make you feel as satisfied or as full as some of the non-meat options do. So it's a real balance between the two, and if you can strike it, it would be great to have a good balance between vegetarian meals and meat meals, because you need both for nutrition. All right, now even if you're following these USDA recommendations and you're getting a lot of nutrition from your food, it's pretty obvious you're probably not getting every nutrient every day. Unfortunately, there's just not enough calories in the day to get nutrients from all these sources. Omega-3s from fish, if you don't have fish twice a week, you're probably not getting enough of that. If you're not drinking milk, maybe you're drinking almond milk fortified with vitamin D, but you're not getting enough magnesium to process the vitamin D, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to talk a little bit about supplements, and I wanted to give you a little bit of information for choosing your supplements. There's some information out there about which supplements are good to take, and there's a little debate on whether or not they're useful or not. Mainstream medicine sometimes says if you're eating a nutritious diet, you don't need a multiple vitamin or a supplement. There's studies that are ongoing at NIH on this. The FDA, this is just for your consideration, the FDA does not have legal ramifications or any review of supplement manufacturers. So what they're bound to do is if a supplement manufacturer claims that a product contains a certain thing and it doesn't, they're bound to take legal action against them. And if a supplement is harmful to someone or poses any risks to someone, they're bound to address that as well. They are not required by law to review their manufacturing processes. So there's been information in the media about supplement companies putting false advertisements out there and inaccurate supplement contents in their materials and their products. What I recommend, how I resolve that is I tend to buy vitamins that are produced by large manufacturing companies because they have a lot more to lose if they violate these two rules that FDA has out there. I usually go with some of the mainstream things that I think would have a lot to lose if they misrepresented their product. You do what you feel best. There's a lot of information online, and it is your body. You can't escape it. So it's really up to you if you which ones you decide to take and how you decide to move forward with supplements. I'm going to give you my recommendations of what I take and why I take it, and then you can go from there. Okay, so what to take? I take a multivitamin every day because I know I don't eat enough beta carotene, vitamin D, and I probably don't get enough vitamin D or magnesium every day. So I always try to take a multivitamin. I try to take one that also contains iron for me, for women. Women can be low in iron because of lots of reasons. So there are male vitamins out there, there are women vitamins out there, there's age-appropriate vitamins out there. Obviously there's children's vitamins and elderly vitamins, and so pick the one that fits you. But I do think, if nothing else, if you take a daily multivitamin, you're probably going to hit the majority of the nutrients you're missing from your food. We have awesome food in this country, but the way it's packaged and sent, and if you're eating a lot of processed foods, you're definitely not getting the nutrition out of the food that you need to keep your body functioning properly. A probiotic is recommended for digestive health if you have any issues around digestion. A N-acetyl-L-cytosine, or NAC, is for antioxidant support. About 600 milligrams is all you need a day. Cholecalciferol, vitamin D3, about 1,000 milligrams per day, especially if you live in the north part of the country or have any conditions that are inflammatory or neurologic. It can help a lot with energy and pain. Biotin at 5,000 milligrams, omega-3 or cod liver oil for the omega-3 fatty acids. I take cod liver oil because it's natural and it also contains A and D vitamins, which I'm always low in D, so that's really good for me. Your choice. B complex vitamin, magnesium citrate. It needs to be the citrate form in about 500 milligrams. If you take more than that, you're probably going to have some weakness in your muscles, and so that's counterproductive. And then I mentioned last time about rest, melatonin, 500 milligrams at night is pretty good across the board. People use that for restfulness and sleep, and I would say if you have any issues around sleep, that's completely accurate supplement to take. I want to caution you that it's really important to check interactions with your vitamins with any other medications you're currently taking and with each other. They can counteract biochemically at the cellular level. They can counteract some of the things going on at the cellular level, and so it's very important that you check on one of the apps like ePocrates or eDrugs. Just Google or look for online a drug interaction application software that you can actually check all your medications with supplements, because they can interact. Magnesium can interact with certain painkillers, etc. And so I really want to caution you to do that, and also to talk to your physician, because anything you put in your body is, again, it's very important to know what you're putting in your body, to be mindful of each thing you put in your body. Over your lifetime, the most important thing that's going into your body is your food. And supplements and medicines are minor compared to what food choices you make each day. So I want to encourage you and inspire you that this is important. It really is the most important thing you can do. Our diet has got to be one of our number one focus areas for well-being, comfort, health, and happiness. In conclusion, I want to sincerely thank you for watching today. I want to encourage you that you can do this, that there's lots of resources out there for a nutritious diet, that you can be accountable to your friends and you can make it fun. It really truly is a blessing to have so many options for food, and to pick 2,000 more meals and snacks this year alone. I get excited just thinking about that. There's a lot of fun out there to be had, and a lot of engaging conversations to be had around dinner tables and connections to be made. And so it's really such a wonderful time to know more about nutrition and to implement some of these tips and tasks. Finally, I hope that you join me next week as we talk about the last element of physical well-being, medicine and alternative medicine. And I really look forward to sharing with you some of the medical research on those things, as well as some of my tips for how to achieve well-being, a state of comfort, health, and happiness with your medical interventions that you need to do for whatever conditions you have. Again, thank you so much for your time. Please reach out to me at any time at drbrown.disabledveteran@gmail.com, and have a great day. Bye.